Today I am discussing about the chemical bonding. This chapter, it is the most important, one of the most important chapter to learn the chemistry. So, chemical bonding is the most important chapter to learn the chemistry. The first, because there are different types of bonding. Number one, electrovalent bond. Number two, covalent bond. Number three, coordinate bond. Number four, hydrogen bond. And number five, actually metallic bond. But apart of these two, that means electrovalent bond and covalent bond, all the other bonds, that means coordinate bond, hydrogen bond, these two bonds are generally related with the covalent bond, and metallic bond is totally separated, different platform. Now first day I am discussing about the electrovalent bond first. What are the characteristics to form an electrovalent bond? The first point is it forms between metal and non-metals. We know that, just like an example of sodium chloride. We know that this is the simplest example of an electrovalent compound, sodium chloride, in which the metal is sodium and the non-metal is chlorine. Now metal forms cation. We know that Na forms Na plus and non-metal forms anion, that means Cl forms Cl minus. By combining these two, generally in our general concept we know that a cation when combines with an anion, through the electrostatic force of attraction they are attracted with each other and forms a chemical compound, and this bond, this interaction in between a cation and an anion is known as the electrovalent bond. But normally this is not so much simpler case. That is, now we can explain the formation of sodium chloride like this. We know that sodium is solid substance. First, we have to give some sublimation energy to form Na gaseous. Now, from Na gaseous, we have to supply ionization enthalpy to release one electron from the outermost shell, that means valence shell of the gaseous sodium atom. So that amount of energy which is required to release that electron from the valence shell, to remove one electron from the valence shell of the gaseous sodium atom, is called the ionization enthalpy of sodium, and by supplying this it converts to Na plus gaseous. Now again Cl2, we know that this is a gaseous molecule Cl2. First we have to dissociate this linkage known as the bond dissociation enthalpy. So this amount of energy is supplied, that's why it will be plus. But if or whenever this amount of energy is supplied, we obtain 2 atoms of chlorine. For one molecule we obtain 2 atoms of chlorine, but here we can see that only 1 atom of chlorine is required. So to obtain 1 atom, the amount of Bd is required is half of Bd. That means total bond dissociation enthalpy divided by 2 for per single atom. But so by giving this amount of bond dissociation enthalpy, it forms chlorine gaseous, single atom. Now this chlorine gaseous, by releasing the electron affinity energy Ea, it releases, because we know that chlorine, due to its smaller size, it accepts one electron readily because it contains 7 electrons in its valence shell, very high electron affinity. It has the actually highest electron affinity, so it readily accepts, and during this acceptance, because by gaining an electron it fulfills its octet, gains stability, so it releases amount of energy. That amount of energy is called the electron affinity, so it forms Cl minus gaseous. Now to form these two actually interact with themselves through electrostatic force of attraction to form 1 mole of sodium chloride crystal lattice, and that amount of energy released is called the crystal lattice energy, U. It is denoted by U. So during the formation of 1 mole of sodium chloride crystal, the amount of energy is released is called the crystal lattice energy of that particular substance. That means here it is sodium chloride. So this is the sodium chloride crystal lattice energy. Now the fourth term, solvation energy. If or whenever an electrovalent compound is dissolved into it, or any substance, that means solute is get dissolved in a solvent. So to gain the stability during its dissolution, the solvent releases some amount of energy, and that amount of energy is called the solvation energy. So if or whenever the solvent is water, instead of solvation energy, we use this term known as the hydration energy. How it generates hydration energy? And crystal lattice energy, the expression of crystal lattice energy is equal to, it is denoted by U, and this equal to Q1 Q2 by 4 pi epsilon 0 into R, where Q1 is the charge of the cation, Q2 is the charge of the anion, and R here is the total radius of the cation and anion. Therefore, R equal to radius of cation plus radius of anion. So, sum total of these two. Now, 4 pi epsilon 0. Epsilon 0 is the permittivity of the medium. Now, how can we calculate? That means the CLE. Higher the value of epsilon 0, higher, less will be the CLE. So, the higher the value of epsilon 0, less will be the CLE. How it depends? So, epsilon 0 actually depends on the polarity of the medium. Epsilon 0 depends on the polarity of the medium. Higher the polarity, higher will be the epsilon 0 value. Polarity of the medium. Higher the polarity, higher will be the epsilon 0 value. That means epsilon 0 is directly proportional to the polarity of the medium. Like this, if we consider, suppose sodium chloride inside the container, inside this container. Suppose sodium chloride inside this container. There are sodium plus ion as well as Cl minus ion. Now, sodium plus ion is surrounded by, suppose it is totally water solvent. So, water here acts as a solvent. Water we know that is a dipolar medium, that is polar medium. Its epsilon 0 value is very high. So, surrounding of the sodium plus, that means sodium plus is surrounded by the water molecule. The negative pole towards this, towards the sodium plus, negative pole towards the sodium plus ion, like this, and hence the sodium, that means the negative pole, somewhat neutralizes the positive charge of the sodium plus. Again, the Cl minus inside the solution, it is surrounded by the positive pole of the water molecule, Now, therefore, the Cl minus is surrounded by the positive pole of the water molecule, and that positive pole somewhat neutralizes the negative charge of the Cl minus. Therefore, inside the solvent, inside this type of a highly polar solvent like water, the charge of the sodium plus as well as Cl minus gets somewhat neutralized, and therefore the charge, that means the upper part Q1 and Q2 gets dropped. So, U is proportional to Q1 Q2, therefore U gets dropped, that means the CLE gets dropped. So, their electrostatic force of attraction becomes somewhat less. Now, the hydration enthalpy, which the water actually supplies to dissolve that particular solute, here sodium chloride, is known as the hydration enthalpy. So, that amount of hydration enthalpy is sufficient to break the crystal, and hence sodium chloride get dissolved into the solution. So, from this point we can conclude that if or whenever CLE is greater than solvation energy, so no dissolution takes place. That means no dissolution takes place. That means the substance doesn't get dissolved. No dissolution takes place. But if or whenever solvation energy is greater than CLE, crystal lattice energy, then dissolution occurs, which occurs in this case, dissolution occurs. So, thus sodium chloride get dissolved into the solution, sodium chloride get dissolved into the water. Now we are discussing Fajan's rule. First, the question is NaCl to compare the melting point as well as the solubility in water, NaCl and NaCl3. First, number one, we have to compare the solubility in water in between NaCl and NaCl3, and also the melting point between NaCl and NaCl3. Here, the common anion is Cl minus, is the common anion, So, we don't consider this common anion because the effect of the Cl minus on both these crystals are same, NaCl and NaCl3. So you have to compare the cation Na plus and Cl minus, Na plus and Al3 plus, Al3 plus here. So Na plus, now we compare this term known as the charge density first. How it can be calculated? Charge density equal to charge by radius ratio. Charge by radius. This ratio is called the charge density. So higher the charge density, that means more will be the polarizing power of the cation. Higher the charge density, this is according to Fajans rule. Higher the charge density, more will be the polarizing power of cation. Polarizing power of cation. Here we can compare the charge density between Na plus and Al3 plus. We know that the charge of Na plus is somewhat less than Al3 plus because it is tripositive charge, and the radius also. Group 1, this is the element of group 1, this is the element of group 13. So size contraction takes place in case of Al3 plus. It has somewhat less radius as compared to the Na plus. So the charge density of Al3 plus is more than that of Na plus, and that's why the Al3 plus actually attracts the Cl minus ion strongly towards it as compared to the Na plus, more than that of Na plus. So Al3 plus strongly polarizes. This is the actually term, strongly. That means that polarizing power of the Al3 plus is more than that of Na plus. Higher the charge density, higher will be its polarizing power. So it strongly polarizes the electronic cloud of the Cl minus towards it. Therefore, the electronic cloud shifts towards the Al3 plus more than that of Na plus. So the electronic cloud comes over the nucleus of the Al3 plus ion. Hence, the charge of the Cl somewhat get decreased, the negative charge over the Cl, because the electronic cloud is shifted towards the Al3 plus, as well as the charge over the Al3 plus ion is somewhat decreased because the electron is shifted towards the positive charge. So somewhat charge neutralization takes place in between these two. Somewhat charge neutralization, not completely, but somewhat charge neutralization takes place, and that's why AlCl3 is more covalent in nature. So according to the Fajans rule, it is more covalent in nature, and we know that the compound which is more covalent has low melting point. That means AlCl3 has lower melting point than that of NaCl, and it is less soluble in water than that of NaCl. So this is the explanation of the lower melting point of AlCl3 and less solubility in water of AlCl3. Now the next point is NaF and NaI. We have to compare the melting point as well as the solubility in water of these two compounds. Again, we shall compare the only anion, because the Na plus is the common cation here. So it has no effect on both the compounds. So we have to compare the F minus and I minus. Again, we have to compare the charge density of these two ions. We know that both of them carry single charge, unit negative charge. But as the radius of iodine, because both the elements are of group 17, down the group iodine larger size, so as the radius of the iodine is greater than that of fluoride minus, I minus is greater than that of fluoride minus, so charge density of I minus is somewhat less, and hence as the charge density of the anion is low, so lower the charge density of the anion, higher will be its polarizability. This term is used for the anion and this term is used for the cation. Lower the charge density of the anion, higher will be its polarizability. That means more readily the electronic cloud of the I minus shifts towards the corresponding Na plus, because both these ions are attracted by the Na plus. So as the polarizability of the I minus is more than that of F minus, so electronic cloud of the I minus shifted towards the Na plus. Hence the charge of the over the I minus get decreased, as well as the charge over the Na plus get decreased somewhat. So somewhat charge neutralization takes place in case of NaI, and that's why NaI is more covalent in nature among these two. So NaI is more covalent, that means it has lower melting point as well as it has low solubility in water. Low solubility, that means, so it has lower melting point and it has high solubility in water. Now why it has high solubility in water? Because we know that a term, that means in case of ionic compounds, all these are ionic compounds, NaF and Na, these two are ionic compounds. In case of ionic compounds, higher the ionic character, less is the solubility in water, because its crystal lattice energy becomes high. Higher the ionic character, its CLE becomes very high, and hence it is less soluble in water because the CLE is greater than solvation or hydration energy supplied by the water molecule. Hence these compounds are less soluble. So sodium fluoride is less soluble in water than that of sodium iodide. So this is the point for the ionic compounds. Clearly, ionic compounds, higher the ionic character, less is the solubility. That means this is due to its high CLE value, less solubility in water. This is due to its high CLE, crystal lattice energy is very high. So this is the reason why sodium fluoride is less soluble in water than that of sodium iodide. Now the next part is to compare NaI and CuI. Both these compounds are ionic compound, but in case of NaI, sodium is in +1 state, and also in case of CuI, copper is in +1 state. But in sodium +1, the configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6. This is the configuration of sodium +1. But in case of copper +1, configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, and 3d10. So it has 18 electrons in its valence shell. And such configuration is called the pseudo inert gas configuration. And due to the presence of such configuration, which has D10 configuration field, we know that D subshell has poorly screening effect. So its penetrating power is very low, its poorly screening effect, and we know that screening constant for the D and F subshell is very low. Therefore the effective nuclear charge denoted by the Z star, which is equal to Z minus S. Z is the atomic number, S is the screening constant. For D subshell, S is very low, therefore Z star becomes very high for D and F subshells. So Z star, effective nuclear charge, becomes very high, and that's why size contraction takes place. Effective nuclear charge means positive charge becomes very high. So it contracts the size. Hence, Cu plus has less size than that of smaller size than that of sodium plus. As the radius of the Cu plus is smaller, so its charge density becomes very high. And according to Fajans rule, we know that higher the charge density of the cation, polarizing power of the Cu plus is more towards the I minus, and hence Cui is more covalent in nature than that of sodium iodide. And according to this theory, due to the more covalent nature of Cui, it is less soluble in water. It has lower melting point also. So this is the reason why sodium iodide is more soluble in water. Again, in case of AgF and AgI, both these compounds, the cation is Ag plus, which also has pseudo inert gas configuration. So due to the presence of pseudo inert gas configuration, both these compounds are somewhat covalent in nature. Again, covalent in case of higher covalent nature, compounds containing higher covalent nature like these, Cu +1 state, Ag +1 state, the compounds have higher covalent nature. So among these compounds, higher the ionic character, more will be its solubility. solubility in water. So here AgF and AgI, among these two, we know that the charge density of I minus is less than that of F minus. Therefore, AgF is more covalent. AgI is more covalent in nature according to Fajans rule, more covalent in nature, as I minus is more polarizable towards the Ag plus as compared to F minus. So AgF is more ionic, and we know that higher the ionic character, more will be its solubility. So AgF is soluble in water. AgF is soluble in water, and the solubility decreases. Soluble in water, and the solubility decreases from AgF to AgCl to AgBr to AgI, and we know that AgF is only water soluble, AgCl forms white color PPT, AgBr forms a pale yellow PPT, and AgI forms a deep yellow PPT. So these are the questions on which you can compare the Fajans rule. Now, SAP concept. The next point is SAP concept. SAP means soft, hard, acid, base concept. Now, which are called the soft center? Soft center means charge density is low. That means their charge by radius ratio is very low, known as the soft center. These are the soft center, where the charge by radius, charge is low, size is high, and so high charge by radius ratio, soft center, it becomes very low. So it becomes soft center. Na plus, K plus, rubidium plus, cesium plus, I minus, Br minus, bicarbonate anion, bisulfate, they are very large in size. These anions are very large. Carbonate anion, sulfate anion, due to their large size, their charge density becomes very low. These are called the soft center. And hard center, these are called the hard center, where the charge density becomes very high. Either their charge is very high or their size becomes very low, radius becomes very low, like Li plus, Mg2 plus, Be2 plus, L3 plus, F minus, OH minus, O2 minus, etc. These are the hard center. And we know that if a soft center is combined with soft, such compound has very low hydration energy. So they become stable and less soluble in water. Again, hard combination. Suppose example of soft combination is like this cesium iodide. Both these ions are soft, cesium iodide. So its solubility in water is very low. Again, hard combination. If the compound forms between two hard ions, then these compounds have very high crystal lattice energy, CLE. So they become stable due to their very high CLE value, and less soluble. Again, less soluble in water. Such a compound is lithium fluoride, very high CLE, and hence it is insoluble in water. So these are the reasons why some compounds are soluble in water, why the compounds are insoluble in water, can be explained on the basis of SAP concept. Now we are coming to explain the solubility of this series. Number A, beryllium hydroxide, magnesium hydroxide, solubility of this series. Magnesium hydroxide, calcium hydroxide, strontium hydroxide, and barium hydroxide. So we have to compare the solubility in water of this series. How can we compare? Because we know that again we have to compare the CLE value as well as the hydration enthalpy, and we know that hydration enthalpy is equal to nothing but Q positive by R positive, because cation dissolves separately and anion dissolves separately, Q negative by R negative. Again, in case of CLE, we know that the expression of CLE denoted by U is equal to Q plus into Q minus divided by R. In case of CGS unit, 4 pi epsilon 0 becomes 1. So in case of R, we can write R equal to R plus plus or minus. That means the radius of the cation and radius of anion. Now, if we compare for in these cases, beryllium hydroxide, magnesium hydroxide, calcium hydroxide, strontium hydroxide, and barium hydroxide, the radius of cation is approx equal to radius of anion. In this case, radius of cation, because the OH minus is smaller sized, heart center, small sized anion. Now, we know that in all these cases, the radius of anion R minus same. Therefore, this part remains constant, R minus same, but Q plus by R plus, as R plus increases, so hydration energy decreases. Hydration energy decreases as R plus increases. That means barium hydroxide has very low hydration energy. But in case of this, R plus plus R minus, it depends on both. So, R plus and R minus, it depends on both. R plus increases, barium hydroxide, in case of barium hydroxide, R plus, the size of R plus is the highest in this group. R minus also, it is added with R plus. So, CLE dropped very much as compared to the hydration enthalpy. So the decrease in CLE as it depends on both the factors, R plus as well as R minus, but here it depends only on R plus because R minus is constant for all these ions, so all these compounds. So decrease in CLE is more than the hydration enthalpy. Therefore this cause, so CLE is less than that of hydration enthalpy as it decreases more. So hydration enthalpy is more than that of CLE and hence it get dissolved. Therefore the solubility becomes beryllium hydroxide, the order of the solubility becomes beryllium hydroxide is the least soluble, then solubility order. This is the solubility order. Beryllium hydroxide, then magnesium hydroxide, then calcium hydroxide, then strontium hydroxide, and the last is barium hydroxide. This is the most soluble part. Now we have to compare the second pair of compounds, B, beryllium sulfate, magnesium sulfate, calcium sulfate, strontium sulfate, and barium sulfate. For all these compounds, R plus is much less than R minus because the sulfate anion, carbonate anion, bicarbonate anion, or bisulfate anion, these anions are larger in size as compared to the cation. So in all these cases, the solubility, if we compare the solubility of these compounds, then hydration enthalpy, because R minus is constant here also, R minus constant, so hydration enthalpy decreases as R plus increases. Again, hydration enthalpy decreases as R plus increases. But here, since R plus is very much less than R minus, so it remains approximate as R plus is very much less than R minus, so CLE approx remains constant. Therefore, CLE becomes more than that of hydration enthalpy in these cases. In these cases, CLE is much more than that of hydration enthalpy. With the increase of the size of the cation, CLE becomes very high, hydration enthalpy becomes low. Therefore, the solubility order is, as CLE becomes high, solubility order is beryllium sulfate is the most soluble because CLE for the barium sulfate is very high as compared to its hydration enthalpy. So with the increase of the size of R plus, the CLE approximates same, hydration enthalpy falls gradually steeply. Therefore hydration enthalpy for the barium sulfate is the least, and hence beryllium sulfate actually is the most soluble, then magnesium sulfate, then calcium sulfate, then strontium sulfate, and the least soluble is barium sulfate. This is the actually explanation of the question.